In this week's chapter of One Piece, the mysterious ninja Raizo finally makes his first shadowy appearance, and we also get to learn that Momonosuke is not just the son of Kine'mon, but he is Lord Momonosuke. He also just happens to be the Lord of Nami's Clavage.
So, Corey, first panel we see is Jack the Drought is alive. And
big shock.
Yeah, big shock. So there had been some miscommunications where the papers had said he's probably dead, but it was obvious he wasn't. I mean, a character that powerful does not get killed off screen. Mm-hmm. And I guess they kind of just went back to show you, by the way, that guy's still there, and the One Piece crew is probably going to have to fight him. And it also makes me very curious to see what's going on with the other guys. You know how one of the four emperors fell onto the ground and Kaido fell,
yes.
And then all those guys were like, "What?" And we never got back to that.
So it's still amazing we actually haven't gone back to that now that I think about it. And that happened a long time ago too.
A long time ago, pretty much when they were coming to this island. So. Ready to see that too. Hopefully they get back to that. But we have major revelations.
Yes.
Ninja revelations going on as well. But also, what'd you think of the kid actually being royalty and things like that?
That's another one of those big twists, you know. First we had the whole Sanji being related to this family of assassins. Now we learn that Kinemon and Momonosuke are no longer father and son. And I have to say, I don't think this is what the author originally planned, because beforehand, Momonosuke and Kinemon really felt like a father-son relationship. They were really selling the fact that they were indeed a family. But this has all apparently been a ruse. Apparently, Kinemon and Kanjuro are just the retainers. They're basically the bodyguards of Lord Momonosuke of the Kozuki clan. I don't know if this is a translation error, but the wiki has already changed it. Last week they mentioned the Kogetsu clan, which sounds a lot more ninja-y and sort of belongs more to Raizo, but apparently now it's the Kozuki clan, and even Raizo himself is one of Momonosuke's retainers. Now, the most interesting thing about this, aside from the fact that this is just changing the characters entirely, is that this kingdom has really close ties with the Mink tribe, and they actually see Momonosuke as their true leader. You get to see both Neko Mamashi and Ino Arashi literally prostrate themselves before Momonosuke when he gets all upset over seeing them fighting, and that's a twist I honestly just did not see coming.
You do not see characters that have a stick break that very often. You know, when people Luffy and everyone, when they see Frankie do robot shit, they get big starry eyes.
At least the male characters.
Yeah, the male character, and then the female characters are like, this is boring, you know? And it's the exact same thing in real life. Whenever I fly a drone, guys run up, super interested, girls could care less. It's so funny. They nailed it. And so it's weird that these characters had a stick, and, that's how much they respect this new lord that's been introduced. That they're like, okay, we won't fight anymore then. And everyone even cheers. They're like, holy shit, that's new.
In many ways, they sort of just brought peace to the entire Mink tribe.
Yeah, that was kind of the only Civil War type thing going on. So it's nice to see that's actually done. But it's interesting because where they were actually keeping Raizo was the big whale tree, which I immediately was like, how come no one looked there? They were invaded. They invaded this whole kingdom, and the biggest landmark they have, no one went and poked around in.
Now, it was a hidden door, but again, I do agree with you. It's you'd think that they would have just completely checked every single place around the island. You'd think they would practically want to burn it to the ground, but they never really went in that direction.
Whatever. Avatar, they decided to blow up the biggest tree the guys had. Why didn't they blow up this tree? I don't get it, but whatever. I actually thought it was very funny. This is pretty much where the chapter takes a huge comedy turn, because you're like, okay, new samurai, but he's kind of a ninja guy, let's see how this goes, and everyone's doing little ninja signs on the way there. They're all pumped.
Yeah, the build-up to them actually going to see Raizo is really funny. Usopp and Luffy doing all the ninja poses, and even Trafalgar Law and Zoro are really excited over the prospect of meeting a ninja. They're just not going to say it out loud. And I like that what you were saying earlier, too, about everybody being really impressed with Frankie and his crazy abilities. They sort of do that here with Raizo as well, because all of the male characters are just completely obsessed over the prospect of seeing a ninja character, and I can't blame them. I'm really excited myself, but I love that one panel where, again, all the females are unimpressed, and then you have Frankie right there doing this cool pose where he's like, all men are obsessed with ninja. It's so perfect that Frankie would be the one to say that as well, because, again, everybody freaks out when they see his cool robot abilities. And, of course, we're formally introduced to the character of Raizo, who honestly is not what I was expecting. He is a really goofy-looking character, very much in line with Kinemon and Kanjuro, where basically he has a giant head and little limbs.
I cannot wait till I get to the Samurai Kingdom. Imagine a whole island of weirdos like that. It's going to be great. Also, I will always say I'm excited because I really want to see, because I'm sure Zoro, when he finds out who's the strongest swordsman there, he's going to want to battle them, Probably in a fun way, nothing too serious.
You'd imagine in a kingdom of samurai, though, there's, swordsmen everywhere.
Yeah, but there's probably, the Mac Daddy swordsman there, and I'm sure that's the one Zoro's going to, seek out to at least have some sort of sparring match with. So
that could very well be this brand new Odin character, the father of Momonosuke.
Which I think the name is wrong, personally, because Odin is
Norse mythology.
Yeah, and then we got a ninja and the samurai lore. They're just mixing it all together, they're like, whatever, we like the name. I'm a fan of Thor. We'll mix that in. So it's definitely interesting. And one of the things as soon as they reach the ninja, Raizo, they just ask him, hey, can you do wood style, earth style, fire style, this stuff? Can you make shadow clones? And he's like, don't disrespect me like that. And then he does all that stuff, And
he has to protect his ninja way, and he obviously wants to impress these guys a little bit. And I have to admit, his abilities are cool, and I don't think they have anything to do with a devil fruit power just because they're so varied. He's just happens to be a really highly skilled assassin or ninja or whatever the hell he is. He just looks really goofy as hell. His overall appearance, like I said, is not what I was expecting. I was kind of hoping for a more traditionally badass looking character from the series, kind of in line with what you see from characters like Zoro or Sanji or even the Admirals. I was kind of hoping for a masked badass super ninja.
Also, proportion-wise, much more humanistic.
Yeah.
All those characters have very human-type, proportions. His head he looks like Wario or something.
Basically, yeah. Kind of like Waluigi almost.
Yeah.
He has, those weird antenna hairstyle going on, just a very weird-looking character, but still very appropriate for the One Piece series, because if there's one thing One Piece does really well, it's designing a lot of weird, disproportionate-looking characters. Now, there is one more major detail that we haven't talked about yet, and that actually involves Nico Robin, because when they actually go to see Raizo for the very first time, they notice that there's this giant red wall, which apparently is a poneglyph, which is really, really important for Nico Robin, because she's finally going to be able to translate this, and this might give us some more clues to the lost history of the One Piece world, and maybe even some ties to what One Piece is in general, because I've always felt that there is going to be a connection between those two things. But it's been a long time since we've seen, one of these poneglyphs before, and it's one of those, details in the One Piece series that's always kind of in the background, kind of like the Will of D and One Piece itself.
Yeah, it's like this quest it's like the side quest that they get back to once in a while, and even the main characters don't really even care.
No, they're more
Nico
obsessed
Robin.
with what's going on with Raizo,
and they really do only show up once every 3 arcs. They're not every place.
No, but they're ultimately, I think, going to be one of the most important things to the series.
And someone will have to shove Luffy in a chair and explain to him why it matters
and
later.
He will not care. That even reminds me, too, Luffy in this chapter was funny, not just because he was obsessed with Raizo, but when he figured out that Momonosuke was, this lord of the Wano Kingdom, he didn't treat him any differently. He still, got up in his face and smacked him around. He's like, this doesn't change anything! We're still going to treat each other exactly the same, which is just so freaking classic Luffy. It's also worth mentioning that this chapter also has this really cool color page, which is basically a glorified poster for the brand new One Piece movie, which is called One Piece Gold, which I have no idea what it's going to be about. There's going to be a brand new villain. Apparently the creator has some sort of hand in it, but little by little we're starting to get some more information about this movie. When we get a trailer, we'll definitely make a video about it, but I liked the teaser. It looked really cool, especially the designs of the characters, because in the movies, they always give the Straw Hat Pirates ridiculous costumes.
Yeah, so it's a good chapter.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it. Was it a perfect chapter? No, because no one got punched in the face. But it was a good chapter, and it was the reason I like One Piece, because it doesn't take itself too seriously. It can have a character like Jack the Droughtnut, and then also a character like Raizo, all in the same chapter, and it still feels like One Piece. So I enjoyed it.
I also really enjoyed this chapter quite a bit. I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 5. Raizo isn't the character I was hoping he was going to be, but he still looks like he's going to be a lot of fun and really entertaining. I don't know if he's the next candidate for Straw Hat Pirate. We're all looking out for that next crew member.
That's the first thing you asked me. You're like, could he be a Straw Hat? I was like, why are you even thinking that far ahead?
Because I want a ninja on the crew, man. I think that would be awesome, and his powers are really cool. And just like Frankie, he would be constantly, just impressing everyone on the crew. Again, at least the male characters on the crew. So I'd like to see more of Raizo, but again, I think this is just more build-up to seeing what's going to happen when we go to the Wano Kingdom. Kingdom. Not to mention, where is Jack headed? Is he actually going back to the island of Zoe, getting ready to kick some more ass? Is he going somewhere different? I just can't wait to see where they're going to go from here, because we finally know where Raizo is. We can move on from here. I don't think we're going to be spending too much more time on the island of the Mink Tribe, unless, of course, Jack is coming back.
Yeah, so another solid read. If you haven't checked out this chapter yet, please do so, because we probably just spoiled it all for you. And if you do like these videos, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you want to support the channel, try checking out our Amazon link. If you buy anything through that link on Amazon, Amazon hooks us up, but it doesn't cost you anymore. And then we also have a PayPal link if you just want to donate to the channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, stay dandy, baby.